let's get active. I was involved in a conversation today, and it was really about what is the definition of an adult? When you look at the things that are going on in this world, and I mean really look at it, how do you define the adult? I paused for a long time because I want you to really begin to think about it or marinate on this subject. Because the adults think that they're an adult, while they think that children are children, when it's clear that now, because of all of the confusion that's going on in the world, that the Bible clearly says, in other disciplines, and a child shall lead them. Think about it. Too often we think that age leads to understanding or leadership. But how old it really is a child? If it says that the old, right, is actually younger than the new, and the younger is actually older than whoever it is that we are, who's really older? I remember, being young in this thing and engaging older individuals who would tell me that I needed to respect my elders. And I had a thought that came to mind is, who's really older? Yeah, you can determine what year I showed up on earth or through birth, but what year was I created by God? If it says that the end of a movie is created before the beginning of a movie, just in that thought process means that in order for me to be birthed in this world, I needed to be older in the mind of God or the mind of the creator or whoever you want to call him than my natural birth parents. We used to say when I was coming up that if you know better, you'll do better. What kind of hogwash is that? Even when I look at some of the challenges that now many of us face and many of you will face, who gets to determine whether you live or die? Is it doctors? Is it the hospitals? Or is it insurance companies? I recently had a family member, and I mean recently, and today's date is November the 29th of 2022, who was in a nursing home because they said that this person could not live by themselves. Family says okay because they agreed that the person could not live alone by themselves. So they were placed in, I want to say for all intent and purposes, not to offend anyone, into this institution. After so long in the place that they were placed, the family was told that the person is okay to go home. But the caveat is because the insurance company would no longer cover their coverage. The next day, and I mean the next day, within 24 hours, an ambulance showed up at the home because the person could not breathe. And I'm not telling you what I believe to be a fact or what I read about or anything. I'm telling you about what I know. So immediately the person was hospitalized. Within 24 hours after being let go by the hospital, And they were diagnosed with double pneumonia and some other ailment, and their oxygen capacity to breathe was so that it needed to be turned up 6 times whatever the natural level was in order for them to become comfortable. My point, did they just contract whatever issue that they had going on within 24 hours? Or did they have this, ooh, I gotta calm myself down, this issue before they left wherever institution that they were in? Now, if I need to tell you that, you need to check your common sense. And I realize that common sense is not common nowadays. So who's the adult in the room? Do you believe the institution? Do you believe the doctors who said whatever they said? Or do you believe your common sense that it's all about the manipulation of money? And too often, what we have not done as the adult in the room is expose some of the things that are really going on to help give understanding to those who argue about stuff that don't make sense. Like me. Remember, I had an accident where I broke my neck and suffered a spinal cord injury, which left me paralyzed since 1976. In all my years, it has never been a situation where I was not able to obtain a wheelchair when needed, up until about 4 years ago, when the insurance companies advised that it was not medically necessary. I went to my doctor, went to my job, went to other individuals, and none could make the agreement that what was not medically necessary was medically necessary. So if you are an adult, and most of us confess to be adults when we're not, what is medically necessary? Should my family member have been sent home? Should I have been denied something because I'm called what's the world says is a quadriplegic? I remember a movie, and it was called Network. And if you ever get a chance to go back and look at it, and one of the main characters who was in the news media said that a statement that made him immediately a public figure. He was saying, I'm mad as hell, and we are not going to take it anymore. And the sad part is that even when you look at this world that we live in right now, that is so divided over so many things. And if you look at it, I have an NFC hat on the other side of this coin is an AFC. And too often one has been taught to hate the other, when at the end of the day, it's all about the NFL, who is the major player in all of this, who gains what you'll never be able to gain. So who's the adult? I'm not here to argue whether you're adult or a not adult. But the question that I have for you, what is it going to take for you to become the adult in the room to make the decisions that we began to unify rather than begin to divide as we are so divided right now? One of the things that I love about the guy Prince is he came up with the word purple, and most people may use whatever it is that he talks about as purple. But the only way to gain the word, the term or the color of purple is you need to mix colors, which is red and blue. And I'm not here to have a decision or have a conversation about whether you think that red or blue is the most important color. The thing is that in order for you to become the adult in the room, you have to combine the different pieces of information that you have, begin to live on, to become the adult in the room that this whole world needs to thrive on. And we can only make it if we all learn to jump that broom to become married to what we used to hate. So join me in order for us to all make it and not fake it. We have to begin to unify to become what is called the adult in the room. And the adult is not about age. It's not about creed or color. It's about the uncommon thing that both of us don't understand, like oxygen. None of us have ever seen oxygen or either understand oxygen. But we breathe it every day. And in order to satisfy the things that are really plaguing this world, even you and your situations, and even my cousin that's going through her situation, and even I who are going through my situation, and maybe even you who are being challenged in reference to what you thought and now finding out what it is that you understand. Become the adult. Now, I define the adult as someone who has come to the level of understanding of what is right and what is wrong. You don't need to be a child to understand that. And you don't need to be of whatever you want to call an aged person is. You just need to be able to understand that which you used to fight against. And when we begin to become mad as hell to the point that we don't take it anymore, we can begin to build on that network that was in the movie, The Network. But sadly, the individual who was in the movie, who brought everything together, talking about what he was mad at, became the adversary to those who embrace what he was saying. The key is that we need to come to the understanding, to understand that even when we come to the understanding, there will be devices that will come to divide us, which is a whole nother measure when you look at all the things that we've been through in the last 3 years about who you wanted to be around and who you didn't want to be around. Which I bring up a great point. If we all came from dirt and we all still do dirt to another level, how can one pile of dirt say that they're better than another pile of dirt? Let that marinate in. And when you come to that place where you understand that adults is not measured by your age, it's measured by what goes on between this side and this side, by not leaning to your own understanding, but understand that the only way to stand over what you used to stand under is to seek the kingdom principle that has been laid out before the foundation of the world. And it'll be the only thing that will ever unite us, because there will always be to divide us. And when you bridge that gap, then we'll find out that things will begin to come together as they once were. And when we do these things, it won't be that only you make it, but you will help someone else make it. And with that, I'll rest my case. So that is my thought of the day. Think of it what you may, but that is my thought of today. Peace.